Your first name was chosen before you could speak, before you could walk, before you had any say in anything at all. But the people who chose it were not working from nothing. They were drawing from a cultural tradition thousands of years old that encoded something specific about where your family came from into the very first word the world would ever use to identify you. That name is not random. It is a cultural fingerprint. And once you know how to read it, it points directly at which ancient civilization your family originally belonged to. Every first name belongs to a specific naming tradition. And every naming tradition belongs to a specific culture. Most people have never applied this to their own name, because familiarity makes names invisible. You have heard your name so many times that it stopped feeling like it meant anything. But every name meant something once. Every name was built from words in a specific language. Words describing qualities, relationships, beliefs, or divine figures that the culture producing the name considered worth encoding in a child's identity. Hebrew names encode relationships with the divine, declarations of faith built from the sacred vocabulary of ancient Israelite religion. Greek names encode philosophical ideals, strength, wisdom, victory, the values of a culture that considered human excellence the highest achievement possible. Germanic names encode warrior virtues, fame, glory, battle readiness, the values of tribal cultures where survival depended on military capability. Celtic names encode connection to landscape and the supernatural, the values of a culture where the boundary between the human and divine was understood as immediate and permeable. The culture that built your name is the culture that shaped the world your ancestors lived in. And that culture is still identifiable, clearly and specifically. From the linguistic structure of the name itself, the most widely distributed naming tradition in the Western world is Hebrew. Through the spread of Christianity and Islam, both drawing foundational scriptures from Hebrew tradition, Hebrew names achieved a global distribution no other ancient naming tradition has matched. Hebrew names built on the divine name El, meaning God, are the most immediately identifiable. Daniel, Samuel, Michael, Gabriel. Every name in this group is a complete theological statement, a declaration of the bearer's relationship with the divine, intended to be spoken aloud every time the person was addressed. Hebrew names built on Yah or Yo, shortened forms of the divine name YHWH, are equally widespread. John from Yohanan, God is gracious. Joseph from Yosef, God will add. Joshua from Yehoshua, God is salvation. If your name carries El, Yah, Yo, or Ayah, Elijah, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Nathaniel, Ezekiel, you are carrying a fragment of the ancient Hebrew sacred vocabulary as your personal identity. A name first spoken in the deserts of the ancient Middle East 3,000 years ago and spoken every single day since. Greek names encode the values of the civilization that produced Western philosophy, democracy, and the Olympic ideal. Names built on Nike, victory, are among the most common. Nicholas, victory of the people. Veronica, bearer of victory. Nike itself, the winged goddess of victory, is the root concept connecting all of them. Names built on philos, love or friendship, encode the Greek philosophical priority of civic and intellectual love. Philip, lover of horses. Philadelphia, brotherly love. The philos root reflects a culture specifically preoccupied with what love, properly understood, actually means. Names built on alexo, to defend, gave the world Alexander and all its derivatives. Alexandra, Alessandro, Alejandro, Alistair in Scottish Gaelic, all pointing at the same Greek concept. The defender, the protector, made globally famous by Alexander the Great's conquests that carried Greek culture across 3 continents. If your name carries Nick, phil, or alex anywhere in its structure. You are carrying a Greek philosophical value as your personal identity, a concept ancient Greeks considered important enough to encode in a child's name and pass forward across 25 centuries. Germanic names are warrior names. Every element reflects the values of tribal cultures where military capability and clan loyalty were the foundations of social identity. The Germanic tradition built names from a specific vocabulary of warrior concepts, combined in pairs to create two-element names, declaring the bearer's intended qualities simultaneously. Hrot, fame. Berat, bright. Rick, power. Wolf, wolf. Helm, helmet. Vald, ruler. Fright, peace. Mun, protection. Combined, they produced the Germanic names that flooded European culture through the Viking Age, the Frankish Empire, and the Norman Conquest. Robert, fame bright. Richard, powerful and strong. William, will and helmet. Bernard, bright strength. Gerald, spear ruler. Raymond, council protection. Everyone is a two-part warrior declaration. If your name is built from two identifiable Germanic elements joined together, you are carrying a warrior declaration from a tribal culture that shaped the political map of medieval Europe more than any other single force. Celtic names encode a completely different relationship with the world, built on landscape, mythology, and the supernatural. Irish Celtic names built on Finn, meaning fair, white, or blessed, point to one of the most important concepts in Irish mythology. Finn McCool, Fionn McCumhail, the legendary warrior whose wisdom came from accidentally tasting the salmon of knowledge. Fionuala, fair shoulder. Fiona, fair and pure. The Finn root connects the bearer to a mythological tradition, understanding fairness of spirit as a supernatural quality. Scottish Gaelic names built on Dun, meaning fortress or hill fort, point to the landscape of the Scottish Highlands and the Iron Age hill fort culture that defined it. Duncan, dark warrior. Dunbar, Dunblane. The landscape element embedded in the name tells you exactly where the naming tradition was rooted. Welsh Celtic names built on Bran, meaning raven, connect bearers to one of the most powerful mythological symbols in the Celtic world. The raven was a bird of prophecy, of battle, of the connection between the living and the dead. A name built on Bran was not simply a bird reference. It was a mythological claim connecting the bearer to a specific strand of Celtic, supernatural belief that runs through the oldest surviving Welsh manuscripts. Your first name was not chosen randomly. It was drawn from a cultural tradition your family belonged to, one that encoded specific values, specific beliefs, and a specific understanding of what a human life was for, into the first word the world would ever use to identify you. Hebrew, Greek, Germanic, Celtic. Whatever tradition built your name, it is still there, in the root words, the combined elements, the divine references, and the cultural values compressed into the syllables you have been answering to your entire life. Your name already knows where you came from. Now you do too. Subscribe. See ya.